A very good evening and a warm welcome to UBC News tonight on this 12th day of July 2023. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and my colleague Elizabeth Nagakoni on sign language interpretation. Now we start off this news bulletin with President Ibrahim Raisi of Iran is currently on a tour in Africa with the aim of strengthening diplomatic relations with the various African states. As part of his tour, President Raisi has visited Uganda, marking his first official visit to the country. Upon his arrival at the State House in Entebbe, he was warmly received by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The visit held a great significance as it symbolized the mutual interest of both nations in enhancing bilateral ties and exploring avenues for cooperation. To honor President Raisi's visit, a ceremonial 21-gun salute was accorded, reflecting the protocol and respect bestowed upon a visiting head of state. During their meeting, Presidents Raisi and Museveni engaged in a fruitful discussion aimed at deepening cooperation between Iran and Uganda.
Were saying, oh, the Islamic fundamentalists, what we said. Oh, no, for us, we are interested in the anti-imperialism position.
اگرچه حرف‌هایی در خصوص
Now, relatedly, the two presidents, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and his visiting counterpart Ibrahim Raisi, witnessed the signing of numerous bilateral agreements between Iran and Uganda, and they also addressed a joint press briefing. We have more in this report.
Some years ago, we have some little oil here which we discovered some years ago.
ما در اینجا نفت خامی داریم که چند سال پیش کشف کردیم.
And I had my arguments with our neo-colonial agents.
و من با ایجنت هایی که اینجا بودند مباحثی رو و مذاکرات رو انجام دادم.
Who are saying that we should only build a pipeline for crude oil but no refinery.
که اصرار داشتن که ما فقط باید خط انتقال نفت خام رو تأسیس کنیم و نباید پالایشگاه بسازیم.
I said why?
سوال کردم چرا؟
They said there's no profit in refinery.
و گفتن که هیچ سودی در پالایش و تصفیه نفت وجود نداره.
Then I said, but if there's no profit, those who build them, why do they build them?
Pardon?
If there's no profit, then those who build refineries, why do they build them?
و من سوال کردم اگر تصفیه خانه و پالایشگاه سودی نداره چرا کشورها یا کسانی که پالایشگاه دارند اونها رو ساختند؟
At that time I was lucky, I visited Iran.
و اون روزها خوش شانس بودم سفری به ایران داشتم.
His Excellency Ahmadinejad was the one in charge.
و جناب آقای احمدی نژاد رئیس جمهور وقت ایران بودند.
And he told me, I asked him, do you have a refinery here?
از ایشون سوال کردم که آیا در ایران شما پالایشگاه نفت دارید؟
Because I was told refineries don't make profit.
و بهشون گفتم که به من گفتن پالایشگاه خیلی مغروم به صرفه نیستش.
His Excellency Ahmadinejad said, we have 9, not one, but we have 9.
جناب احمدی نژاد به من گفتن که ما یک پالایشگاه نداریم، 9 پالایشگاه در کشور داریم.
And we are building more.
و قصد ساخت پالایشگاه بیشتری رو هم داریم.
So when I came back, I was able to put my foot down.
زمانی که به اوگاندا بازگشتم
and insist on a refinery for our oil.
و اصرار کردم که ما باید پالایشگاه خودمون رو بسازیم
And the petrochemical industry.
و باید صنعت پتروشیمی خودمون رو داشته باشیم.
And this morning on the news, I saw that Iran has opened a new petrochemical center somewhere.
و من تو رسانه ها خواندم که ایران یک مرکز محصولات پتروشیمی رو در یک مکانی تأسیس کرده.
So you can see there are areas of complementarity.
شما می‌بینید که در چه حوزه‌هایی ما می‌توانیم مکمل همدیگر باشیم.
And I would urge the ministers to take up this matter.
و وزیر مربوطه خواستم تا این موضوع رو پیگیری کنه.
And we shall appoint somebody in foreign affairs to be in charge of this desk.
و ما باید از در وزارت امور خارجه خودمون فردی رو منصوب کنیم تا مسئول پیگیری این موضوع باشه.
Whom I will communicate to Your Excellency through writing.
و با جناب عالی مکاتباتی رو انجام بدیم.
Thank you.
و در دارو ما بیش از 95% از داروهای مورد نیاز رو در داخل داریم تولید می‌کنیم و صادرات داریم. و نسبت به تجهیزات پزشکی امروز تمام اونچه که در اتاق عمل به عنوان تجهیزات پزشکی به کار برده میشه همه این ست کامل توسط دانشمندان ایرانی با کار علم پایه و فناوری پایه داره تولید میشه.
When it comes to pharmaceutical or medical equipment, we have taken very productive and effective steps in the country. When it comes to pharmaceutical, I can say that more than 95% of our domestic needs are produced inside the country, and at the same time we are exporting pharmaceuticals to other countries. Regarding the medical equipment, we are producing all the surgery sets needed for the operation room for surgery, and of course this is done by the Iranian scientists and through the knowledge-based companies.
این حوزه هم آمادگی داریم برای همکاری با کشور دوستمون اوگاندا.
And in this regard, we register our readiness once again in order to share our experience with the friendly country of Uganda.
A cross-section of political and technical leaders from 10 districts in Rwenzori sub-region today met with Prime Minister Robina Nabanja to follow up on issues earlier raised during the Local Government Service Delivery Assessment Conference, which took place last week. The meeting took place at the office of the Prime Minister in Kampala. We have the details in this following report.
The meeting brought together LC5 chairpersons, members of parliament, district local council speakers and chief administrative officers. Salient issues raised that affect service delivery in the sub-region include districts returning money to the consolidated fund and ban on human resource recruitment, among other things.
We come here with mainly 4 issues that are affecting us. You must have observed that at the end of the last financial year, just from the Rwenzori sub-region alone, we returned over 80 billion shillings to the Central Treasury. And all these monies are meant to implement key government priority programs in that region. And certainly these services are directly affect the local population, the wananchi of Uganda. And finally, what is the comment? Local governments lack a capacity to absorb, which we strongly and vehemently oppose. And today we shall bring out the structural issues that we feel must be addressed so that we don't have a repeat of the same. But it must be clear right from the onset that the reason for the return of this money is not in local governments, but rather at central government.
While applauding the sub-region for supporting government programs, Prime Minister Nabanja noted that there was urgent need to address bottlenecks affecting service delivery in local governments.
Something must be done. You want me to pay salaries of our workers. I've not yet recruited. You have put money on our account in June, and you want me to go through this recruitment exercise in 30 days. Is that possible? And so I think they have an issue.
The Ministry of Public Service carried out a forensic audit on the wage bill, and a report will soon be released to guide staff recruitment in local governments. The Prime Minister noted with concern lack of transparency in recruitment of staff in some local governments. Nabanja reminded all political leaders and chief administrative officers to remain professional during the execution of their work.
Let me take this opportunity to inform other members, you the leaders, because the CAR, the LC5, the Speaker, you are the cream, the leaders, the torch bearers of your respective districts. To continue with sensitization, to continue with mobilization, so that our people, and also linking the security with the local leadership, revitalize and energize your security committees from the village, and link them with the concerned people, the security, the DSO. They should have the telephone number of the RDC. They should have the telephone number of the DPC. Your people from the villages. They should make sure that they know the telephone number of the OC station or OC police post. Are we together, members? So that we avoid what happened in Kasese.
The leaders brought to the attention of the Prime Minister that managing construction contracts for local governments at the centre was one of the causes of poor utilisation of money sent to the districts. In a related development, Prime Minister Nabanja hosted a visiting delegation of members of Parliament from Malawi. The delegation, composed of the Business Committee of Parliament of Malawi, is in the country on a 5-day visit.
How did the Uganda manage to add value to our products? We still had it is recent that we came up with a policy. It's a government policy. We no longer allow our products to be exported in their raw form. The minerals, they used to take gold in its raw form. Even in maize, we used to export it in its raw form to Kenya. And then we buy it as wunga when it is back. Yes, so they take it cheaply, they take even our everything, our jobs, our everything. So these days, the policy is, if you want to export, come invest here.
The visit is aimed at strengthening ties between both parliaments and gaining valuable experience through exchange programs. The leader of the delegation, Madalista Kazombo, hailed the cordial relationship existing between the two countries.
Honorable Prime Minister, so inspiring to see what the people of Uganda, under the wise and dynamic leadership of the son of the soil in Africa, Baba Lauryn Masika, is doing. That's why we came here.
The delegation was briefed about the mandate of the Office of the Prime Minister in Parliament.
The Police Directorate of Traffic and Road Safety has urged the public to report any broken vehicles along highways to minimize accidents resulting from road obstruction. The Directorate, however, decried limited power to these broken vehicles, as most of the responsibility was bestowed into the Ministry of Works and Transport as per the Transport and Road Safety Act of 2023.
The frequent accidents along major highways are attributed to the broken down vehicles parked alongside roads without warning signals for other road users. These parked vehicles have been involved in collisions that have tragically cost lives.
That the driver of the bus, one Kauma Dauda, male adult 50 years old, rammed into a motor vehicle registration number UAV 326W Mercedes-Benz, which was broken down on the same road.
A faulted truck that had been there, but definitely it happened at a very, very bad spot in a corner and a downslope. So our driver did not expect anything at that spot.
The Traffic Police Directorate has cautioned drivers to exercise due diligence by notifying the police and placing reflectors when experiencing a mechanical breakdown.
We thus call upon all drivers or caretakers of broken down motor vehicles to always immediately put reflectors on both sides of the vehicle for traffic to notice so that they can see how to handle.
They urge community members to assist the police by reporting any parked cars along the road that have been stationary for more than 2 hours.
Encourage members of the communities and the public and other road users to always inform police in case of these broken down vehicles.
There is a high number of vehicles in dangerous mechanical conditions on Ugandan roads, indicating inadequate supervision. In 1998, the responsibility of supervising vehicles was transferred from the police to the Ministry of Works and Transport.
The law talks of 2 hours. The law talks of 2 hours, and the responsible in that issue, in that matter, is the roads, the UNRA.
Poor road signage, reckless driving and overspeeding are significant factors contributing to road accidents in Uganda. It is concerning that many skilled drivers struggle to interpret erected road signs, which puts the lives of road users at risk. Abdul Nasser Lubwama and Rogers Komagum for UBC.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has directed the Attorney General Chiriowa Chiwanuka to immediately report to Cabinet on Monday with proposals and amendments in the 2019 Road Act, which, according to the President, has given leeway to poor road users to move away scot-free. This was part of his condolence message read by the Vice President of Uganda, retired Major Jessica Alupo, during the burial of Business Emperor Apollo Nyegamehe alias Aponye this Wednesday, the 12th of July 2023 in Muhanga, Ruchiga district.
From east to west, south and north, they have all gathered in Muhanga, Ruchiga district to celebrate the life and journey of the late Apollo Nyegamehe. First on the agenda was mass led by the Vicar General, Kabale Diocese, Monsignor John Vianney.
The Catholic Church requires us to talk about good examples a person gave when he was still on this earth.
The church says in Aponye, there lived a true servant of God.
He served God, was faithful to God, and the best gift we can give him today is the sacrifice of Mass.
The last respects to the departed father by the children were very emotional.
My twin. The father to the fatherless.
There are no words I can use to describe our relationship, because he never made me feel like out of place.
My father was a noble man, my father was a countryman, and my father was God-fearing.
The children are now calling for support towards the continuity of the Aponye's empire.
He went an extra mile to make positive contribution and lasting impact on the lives of those around him, including those with views different from his.
Other mourners had this to say about the late.
But when Aponye and his colleagues in the Green Council organized themselves, they have now turned grain and maize in particular to be a significant cash crop in Uganda.
The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, this is how he eulogized his longtime friend.
twabamwe kutwatubonaga za tenda akaje ngo buri munyayuganda orabone tenda South Sudan wati muretere araza kumuhereza byo kurya yaheza ishabanje n'abantu bacabino mutimo.
His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was in attendance through a representation by the Vice President, retired Major Jessica Alupo.
On behalf of the NRM party, the government, and on behalf of all the people of Uganda, I convey heartfelt sympathies and condolences to the bereaved family. Our hearts go out to the wife, Evangelist Mugabirwe Nyegamehe, and the children upon the loss of a family pillar. I wish to commiserate with the people of Kigezi and all Ugandans upon the loss of a great entrepreneur.
In a delivered message to the mourners, President Museveni is deeply concerned about the weak country's laws which have enabled poor usage of the roads.
Excellency, the President asked me to share with you, Monsignor, together with all the members of the congregation, that he is concerned that that act may not be sufficient enough to stop the road carnage in our country. And therefore, His Excellency the President...
The President has now taken up the matter by directing the Attorney General to take charge.
Honorable Kirio Wakiwanuka will on Monday present the Cabinet to Cabinet proposed guidelines to improve the implementation of Section 58 of the Road Act 2019 with a view to make it implementable or fill in the grey gaps which may be there that have continued to cause accidents even when that provision takes care of what would otherwise would not be happening now. Secondly, His Excellency the President has guided the Attorney General to commence the amendment of the Road Act 2019 with a view to strengthen it in order to mitigate road carnage in the country.
At 66 years of age, Apollo Nyagamehe has now been laid to rest, and most notably, through his Aponya business empire and children, his legacy is expected to live on for years. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
May his soul rest in peace. Now, recently elected chairperson for Bukedia District Local Government, Mary Akol, has threatened to resign, citing what she terms as an unclear fate of hers. Akol says the continuous arrests of other district leaders is leaving her with nobody to work with. Her assertion comes hardly a week since the RDC, DPC, among other district officials were arrested as part of the investigations into the Bukedia by-election mess.
The frequent accidents along major highways are attributed to
While she campaigned for the district topmost job, she promised a lot with the hope of winning.
I declare Mary Akol, who has obtained the largest number of votes.
On winning, she even pledged more than she had promised.
Let's come and work together for the good of Bukedia, and we shall develop our Bukedia we want.
No sooner had she officially assumed the office than a directive was issued to investigate the process that led to her victory. A letter from President Yoweri Museveni directed the State House Anti-Corruption Unit to investigate any anomalies reported in the Bukedia by-elections. In the June 26, 2023 letter, Museveni cited reports of the violent obstruction of one of the candidates from getting nominated, besides robbing him of over 160 million Uganda shillings. The directive has since been made effective, leading to arrest of some officials, including the RDC, DPC, and some low-ranking police officers. Such moves have made the winner of the elections uncomfortable.
when your people are being arrested day and night, how do you feel? And how do their families feel about me? Because everybody is like, because of that woman, because I contested, now their families are in problems. Their families are not happy, you know.
Reports of ballot stuffing, as lamented by some voters on the morning of the polling date, is one of the factors that the president directed for investigation. Okero, who won the election, says she doesn't know her fate.
So I'm not happy about that, unless the situation is rectified. But otherwise, I'm not also comfortable, because I personally also, I don't know my fate.
It is against this background that Mary Okero is contemplating quitting the political position.
Can work when my people are there, I can work with them. But if they are continuing, then who's me? Whom do I work with, especially? Whom do I work with? I will resign.
Mary Okero was the NRM candidate for the Bukedia LC5 by-elections. She won with 79,692 votes against her closest challenger, an independent candidate who garnered 4,941 votes. The by-election was held to replace Moses Olemukan, who died in December 2022. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Thank you, Henry Okrut. Now, the Ministry of Health has deferred from an earlier opinion of government to remove cut, aka Mira, from the list of prohibited substances. Last week, the Minister for Internal Affairs asked Parliament, scrutinizing the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Control Bill 2023, not to consider cut among the regulated substances. While appearing before Parliament Committee on Defence and Internal Affairs, Minister Anifa Kawoya says Mira is very dangerous to the human being and needs to be regulated.
Last week, the Minister for Internal Affairs, Kahinda Otafire, told the Parliament's Committee on Defence and Internal Affairs that cat, aka Mira or Mairunji, and some other specific weed should be removed from the list of prohibited substances, justifying that the country can win big from the industry.
You can't prohibit, you can't sell alcohol and prohibit cat. And in our circumstances, cat has become a cash crop.
General Tafire, based on a due diligence done on both cat and cannibalism, saying that the dangerous part surfaces when being abused.
Fortunately, those who are growing are foreign investors. They are from Israel. Now, what I'm arguing is the proceeds, much as we get taxes, some benefits, much of the proceeds is repatriated to Israel. So I'm saying, if these fellows are making profit, why don't we allow our own people, Ugandans, the Chiwanukas, the Otafires, the Okeros, the Bamasaba, to grow cannabis, those who can afford, those who have the capacity to grow it, and the proceeds remain here.
The Minister of Health bitterly presented a different opinion during the same engagement with the Committee on Defence and Internal Affairs of Parliament.
Because it also has its effects.
The Health Ministry recognizes the fact that the psychoactive drugs can be medicinal, but the cultivation and distribution cannot be left at a free range.
But must be regulated to be taken. We have even said under whose authority, guidance, who should do that. Not everybody to just go and pick. So I think we are all together. And my general, my brother, yes, anything once is taken, we have understood that now alcohol is leading. It may be another type even worse than cat.
Anifa Kawoya, the State Minister for Health in charge of general duties, says anything taken in excess should be regulated and specific people should be licensed to carry out the operations, including growing and distribution, among others.
And we as a ministry through National Drug Authority, our mandate is to regulate which is allowed and which is not allowed. and what criminalities comes in when you take it out of the allowed specifications. So our emphasis is on regulation. Our emphasis is to ensure that every drug that comes here will regulate it so that it's not harmful to our population.
The MPs tasked the Ministry of Health to provide a written submission on the medicinal bit as far as the substances in question are concerned.
Where we have problems, as colleagues have said, is on the implementation side of it. Now we are amending this bill to reinforce, to ensure that what has failed, we cannot continue to lament that failed, but we must improve and say it is a law that can be implementable.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Uganda waraji batusako manrane chikona tena tekobu seko season yakuna savu July kuma Mount Papa's Hall usasule kwa MTN mobile money usasule gumu chitundu MTN usasule nega komitano tika stemu kagatano stamu enda munana hasha kwa MTN ufune tiketi yokati wabula kumliango usasule mitwale ibiri yepe mitwale tano ate meza ya milioni biri munana July Golden Hotel mkono mwenda July Nikan Resort Airways 15 July France Africa Jinja abiri mbili July Maria Flemasaka abiri mwenda July Afro Club Ekasangati ate yoyo noku yingi na mutualo wafujinidwa musente Talent Africa Victoria University Suzu Property Consultants Pepsi Max Uganda Waraji ne
MTN.
Uganda's oil and gas projects are providing opportunities for Ugandan businesses. Between 2017 and 2022, 40% of the 3,800 procurements worth $4.4 billion were awarded to 460 Ugandan companies. This includes 41 community-based companies that have been awarded contracts worth $2.3 million. In order to be contracted to supply goods and services for oil activities in Uganda, entities must register on the National Suppliers Database. Over 2,300 entities are registered on the National Suppliers Database. Registration is free. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Multi Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
This is the University of Africa. On the streets, you get your real education. Here, everybody has a degree of something. But the most important qualification is imagination. His reason is to be the GOAT. The reason to imagine is to take the beat and make it lit. So no matter what your situation, just use your imagination.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
Dear Airtel customer, we know that there are days when unexpected stays in hospital stand in the way of your family's welfare. That is why Hospital Center is here to give you up to 100,000 shillings every night you spend in hospital. Hospital Center also offers up to 4 million in funeral benefit. Dial *185*7*6# to purchase Hospital Center on Airtel Money for as little as 1,000, 3,000 or 5,000 shillings a month. Your cover for the first 1 month is free. Hospital Center is underwritten by Prudential and powered by Turaco. Prudential and Turaco are regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda. Airtel Money is regulated by the Bank of Uganda.
Ekinene kikino Jemisinde mu bunabyalo ejabagoberizi ba Kristo East African Christian Marathon jangu tuddukire wamu misinde gy'essaala gino nga 13 omwezi ogw'omunaana erugogo ku kisaawe kya hockey jangu okikirira mu makago mu misinde gy'essaala n'ekiruubirirwa ekirungi eky'okuzimba ekifo awanakwatirwa nga masimu ag'ettundutundu ly'obuvanjuba bwa Afrika. Weetabe emisinde gino oddukire wamu n'omusumba wo abakulembeze b'ekitundu kyo abanaakiikirira Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, DR Congo, South Sudan n'abawono mu Uganda. Jangu odduke ne Captain Mike Mukula agenda okukulemberamu abaddusi. Ddukirira enteekateeka eno ng'ogula omujoozi muwona addukira ku mitwalo 2, mitwalo 3 n'emitwalo 10 kuba enteekateeka z'emisinde nga gino zikyusa ensi. Okumanya ebisingawo kuba ku noti 781-885 noti 55. Emisinde gya East African Christian Marathon giwagiddwa UBC TV, Star TV ne Star FM emmunyenye y'eggwanga.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still with us. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and my colleague Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language interpretation. Now, in more news this evening, Uganda's People's Congress, UPC, has strongly condemned the undemocratic acts of ballot stuffing by the NRM political party during the elections. UPC party president Jimmy Akena says election malpractice is still a real threat to democracy. We have more.
On Thursday last week, UPC's Eunice Otuko-Apio won the Oyam County North constituency parliamentary seat by 15,718 votes in the recently concluded by-elections. UPC today has reflected on what transpired during the by-election and regretted how the NRM political party engaged in electoral malpractices, including ballot stuffing.
By the time you're seeing me losing my cool, a lot had happened. And in this particular case, somebody came up to the polling station, demands to get ballots, and collects 250 ballots in a polling station which had just over 562 registered voters. So this is almost half of the registered voters being ticked by one person in full view of everything that's taking place, and also in the presence of armed and uniformed security personnel. Theft is theft. What is wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter who is doing it, it is wrong. Cheating is not acceptable. It doesn't matter who you are, it is wrong. And that one, as UPC, we're not going to accept.
Men in uniform should stop assisting particular political parties in guarding their votes and leave out others to use their own manpower.
Time was agreed, 4 a.m. is when the EC was opening the stores, and we were there to witness. But that night before morning, police had picked up the motorcycles. Our colleagues in NRM had at least 25 drones from Leda and other vehicles and motorcycles moving all over the place. Theirs were not disrupted. And I did raise this one to the police that removing this layer of protection is as good as assisting in the rigging.
Akena says the president of Uganda has acknowledged election malpractices, and his request is for him to consider pursuing the culprits.
This remains a real threat to democratic practices and undermines the will of the people. As UPC, we are going to pursue this matter to its logical conclusion. We need to deepen our democracy by holding free, fair, and peaceful elections devoid of malpractices and violence.
Despite winning in Oyam North by-elections, Akena has reechoed his commitment to fighting for the party's mandate and use all powers in his capacity to to change the politics of this country, which he insists is unsatisfactory. Shaidat Nasakum, UBC News.
Uganda Revenue Authority officials have failed to account for over 1 billion shillings for pieces of land they purchased across the country, as they never followed the procurement procedure. While appearing before Public Accounts Committee, Kosase, the legislators discovered that the cost of the land were inflated and the pieces of land were bought without plans. Philip Agota reports.
On Wednesday, officials from Uganda Revenue Authority were speechless and could not provide accountability for the land procured from 2018 to 2020 in various parts of western Uganda, as they didn't follow procurement processes. Various pieces of land were bought in Bunagana border, Bundibujo and Mirama Hills without needs assessment that causes suspicion of corruption and fraud.
They were not budgeted for. Two, it was not one of their objectives and needs. It appears like there were some chunks of money that URA wanted to dispatch by acquiring these plots of land, because when you dig deeper in the reports, you don't see anywhere in one of the objectives, even within the district, on market value, the piece of land cannot be at the same price. Because I will tell you, what is that piece of acre in a municipality? And what is that piece of acre in the rural areas deep in the district? There will be two different values. But as well, when you look at the records, even within the contracts committee, you can sense that there were arguments that the size of the land, as quoted by the chief government valuer, was different from the size of the land quoted by the surveyors. It is also within here. And when it comes to figures, there's a lot of narrative to do with the figures.
The legislators also discovered that pieces of land were bought without involvement of Uganda Land Commission as required by law.
Number two, for most of these purchases, the accounting officer did not even confirm availability of funds. Number three, for some of the plots, there was no chief government valuer's report, meaning it was not sought, the opinion of the chief government valuer. For others, there was a variation from what the chief government valuer did issue. Then again, the sizes, acreage that your people are quoting is different from what they have given us on almost each plot of land, yeah? And so we don't want to assume you people are trying to confuse us, because we are not going to get confused on this matter.
I'd like to apologize for a lack of preparedness on this item of land. And Honorable Chair, as you know, from the beginning of this session, there are some elements where we are saying maybe we need more time, and it was the basis for our request.
When URA officials failed to explain and account for pieces of land, the MPs led by the committee chairperson, Joel Senyonyi, sent away the officials from Parliament.
So let's dismiss you for today. Go and get all the documents you require.
Philip Aguta for UBC News at Parliament.
Thank you, Philip Aguta. Now, corruption has been a significant obstacle to Uganda's economic progress. In recognition of the crucial role integrity plays in addressing this issue, the country director of Action Aid Uganda, Xavier Ejoyi, highlighted the connection between corruption and poverty during the Integrity Awards ceremony held in Kampala.
The Integrity Awards ceremony held in Kampala highlighted the detrimental impact of corruption on Uganda's economic progress. Country Director of Action Aid Uganda, Xavier Ejoyi, stressed the connection between corruption and poverty.
We want to continue and turn this into a movement of men and women of integrity across the country. A movement, not the political party, but a movement that recognizes and and really exonerates integrity.
Ejoi emphasized the importance of remaining steadfast in the fight against corruption, cautioning recipients against straying from their commitment.
Corruption is people who serve in public office have access to public resources, using those resources or offices for private, especially personal gain. That's why our word is focused on public officials.
Former MP Ezat Kasian Wadri was recognized for his contributions to fighting corruption, while State Minister for Fisheries Helen Adoa received recognition for her anti-corruption efforts in the fisheries sector.
So it's very humbling for me because I was brought up in a honest and I am a person of strong principles. I try my best. By the grace of God, I try my best to do things when I am in an office and when I am in every position, in the light and in darkness.
The event honored public officials such as Professor Wasabarunywa and Andrew Baliayanga for their unwavering dedication to upholding integrity and ethical practices.
It is the heart, or it is your character and personality that drives you to reach this far we have gone. I don't think I am one of these people who even have a slight thinking in my head that the award I've been given, I will end up being corrupt and to end up being removed from me.
The awards ceremony received a significant response with over 600 nominations, reflecting Uganda's collective aspiration for a corruption-free society. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
A new international medical center has opened in Lira to provide quality healthcare and modern interventions. Care International Medical Care says the investment is a renewed commitment towards improving access to quality medical care. We have details.
Care International Medical Center has opened a branch in Lira to improve access to medical health care in the region. The multinational healthcare group based in Mauritius and operating across the country is now accessible in 18 locations in the country, including the newly launched Lira branch.
I feel really very happy because, anyway, I don't want to mention, but it is very common with government facilities. If you go, there are delays, of which I don't like.
I have been to many hospitals, but maybe the way things are handled, sometimes it becomes hard for you to reach the point where you want to reach. Maybe the line is too long, the staffs are too harsh, things are not okay, you are being pushed from here to there, and you really don't get what you want. But here they direct you well, you really get to see the doctors on time, and really it saves time a lot. 200
people who showed up on the first day benefited from the free medical services at the launch. Sheila Aboth, the regional marketing manager at Care, explained that the facility will reduce on the travel cost of residents in Lango sub-region for better medical services.
Lira has been on our list for over 4 years, and the people of Lira have been requesting that we have a facility in Lira. We've seen most of them going to Gulu and some of them going to Soroti, where we have a facility. So it's been in the pipeline for the last 4 years. Until now we said, let's have a facility. And it has also been challenging to get a place where you can put a decent facility where people can visit.
Following the current debate on the rampant road accidents, Matthias Okwir, the regional traffic officer, expressed concern in the manner in which the road users behave.
As the regional traffic officer, this also falls under my dockets, because our work is to safeguard life and the property. How do you safeguard life and the property? Not only when you come to see care, even on the road there, as you are moving, are you saving your life? Are you walking on the road properly? Are you crossing the road properly? Are you driving well?
The Lira Resident City Commission appealed for better buildings to market the city and reduce on the rate at which buildings collapse.
We are now a city, we are growing, and what we need now are better facilities, better infrastructure that can attract certain services like C-Care is bringing here.
A month ago, a building under construction in Lira City East Division collapsed, killing 2 instantly. Eddie Olwa, UBC News.
Defense legal team in the murder case of Immaculate Onebe Aiso, wife to the accused Onebe Francis, has faulted the investigative officer in this case for failure to utilize the missing gaps while conducting investigations in this matter. This happened at High Court Criminal Division in Kampala when defense was cross-examining Detective Okero Jacob, the investigative officer in this case.
High Court Criminal Division in Kampala, before Judge Okero, is proceeding with the hearing of the case, where businessman Francis Onebe and his bodyguard Okero Bone are accused in the murder case of Immaculate Onebe Aiso, wife to Francis Onebe. Court resumed today for defense legal team to cross-examine the investigative officer Okero Jacob. Defense led by lawyer Patrick Kasumba questioned Okero Jacob why he failed to follow up on the alleged assassination of the deceased by one of her bodyguard working with Pentagon Security Company.
I know that I'm very well aware that deployment always indicates locations. From Pentagon, we got extract of deployment of areas which we are interested in the course of investigation.
Did it have been your interest as an investigative officer?
My lord, to have been my interest if he was added value to the case.
Okero was also faulted for not including the accused Okero Bone on that team, which went to search at Onebe's place. Yet he was a suspect in this matter. Being that Onebe was found with documents, including medical documents, defense faulted Okero's evidence that he was trying to escape to Britain after the disappearance of his wife Immaculate Onebe.
From the source that he was running out of the country, but from what I got from him, from A1 during our interaction, he was going to Gankan University Teaching Hospital en route to United Kingdom. I love this P7 here is the medical referral document from French Polyclinic. It's the ultrasound scan report.
Defense also asked Okero Jacob where there was a conflict between the deceased and the employees at Pentagon Company Limited.
I discovered there were issues. One was the reporting format of the juniors. The junior staff reporting to the owners. As I was educated that others were so close to and reporting direct to the chairman than...
However, Okero denied that before carrying out a search at Onebe's home, they knew that the body of Immaculate Onebe was in a septic tank.
We picked interest in checking in the septic tank, but the heaps of timbers could not allow.
Okay. No. How did it take long? Why did it take long? Almost 8 months checking the septic tank. Those other men.
My lord, I don't want to share other people's experience, but I take over from where I've been entrusted.
Judge Okero adjourned the case to 27th July 2023 for further hearing of the case. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Now into business, the Uganda Coffee Investment Consortium has gifted coffee farmers in the district of Kwen, Kapchora and the surrounding districts with a modernized coffee processing mill to help them add value to their coffee. This has been revealed at the groundbreaking ceremony of the proposed modern coffee mill in Kwen district.
Women farmers in the districts of Kwen, Kapchora among other districts have been struggling to find a place to process their coffee. A farmer would fetch a better price from selling processed coffee. Christine Moga says after observing their struggles, she decided to come up with the Mount Elgon Women's Specialty Coffee, an umbrella organization for women in their communities, and started buying coffee from fellow farmers.
Then I thank the government through UCDA. They have allocated some of our groups washing stations, though for us as Mount Elgon women, we've not got one. That is an appreciation.
She further explains the challenges they are facing, among which is the lack of land to build a coffee processing plant, thus appealing to government to give them a hand of help.
We want to appeal to the government that we need support as Mount Elgon women in specialty coffee because we are paying taxes. We need to increase on our productivity so that we shall earn high foreign exchange, and that one will support us.
Sylvia Chebet of Masha Coffee says they have the best quality coffee and getting such seedlings will attach value to it.
Company, we are very focused on partnership because we know we can't go far if we work alone. And I'm happy that our leaders are very close to us and are seeing what we have. And as Masha, we would like to mention that we are not only seated in Queen. I think the little we've done, we're already being recognized beyond Queen.
The chairperson Uganda Coffee Investment Consortium, Nelson Tugume, said women work in very challenging situations in assessing the best farmer-based services in their area. He, however, pleaded to the community and the whole country to drink coffee processed by these women.
This story must be told all over the world. If she's getting $4 out of her coffee, how can we fight for her to get $50? And then land will not be an issue because now it will be about the productivity of the tree.
And now into sports. The She Cranes are in their final preparations ahead of the 2023 Netball World Cup slated for South Africa later this month. We have more details in this report.
With less than a fortnight to the 2023 Netball World Cup in South Africa, the She Cranes believe they are ready to be champions in the upcoming games.
The team is in good shape. Everything is set well. We are physically, mentally, and let me say psychologically we are prepared. We don't have anything which I don't think we need more.
The She Cranes have engaged in a variety of friendly encounters with different teams, including a men's side behind closed doors. They are confident that these matches have equipped them with the necessary skills to compete against the world's best.
There's a lot of talent these boys are giving us, which we think that it's even more better than having our own trainings. And me personally, as the team captain, I wish if there was an opportunity for the management to help us to bring these boys for all these remaining days, because there's a lot we are getting from them. First and foremost, they're very strong. Their agility and their speed is so good compared to the one for the ladies. And I feel like within these remaining days, if they can give us a chance of having so many friendlies with them, we shall be somewhere.
The Netball World Cup, which consists of 16 teams, will take place in Cape Town, South Africa from July 28th to August 6, 2023. The She Cranes are in Pool D with Trinidad and Tobago, Singapore and defending champions New Zealand. Masha Miro, UBC News.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
This is a quick call. I'm almost out of minutes.
Why rush through such important conversations? Airtel Uganda has made it possible for you to call across all networks in Uganda at the best rates with the new Bona voice bundles. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with minutes valid for calls on all networks. Dial *100*1# and select Call All Networks.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
All right, welcome to the third segment of the program. All right, I am kidding. The news has come to an end, but of course, with me in studio now, this time on different grounds, is Timothy Nyangweso, who is the host of Behind the Headlines. Welcome to the news studios.
Interesting to be here. I thought we had some news bits that we needed to say, but
I know, right?
All the same, the third segment is good enough for me.
Well, tell us what to expect tonight.
Especially about looking at Oyam and Bukedia elections that have just come and the dust has settled. We want to be able to look into that. We want the president of the Uganda People's Congress to give us perspective on what actually happened on ground, because there are so many allegations, but the biggest area we're going to spend a lot of time is analyzing our elections, the dynamics, and what does that mean for the political landscape, especially projections looking to 2026.
That's amazing. And who should we expect tonight?
First and foremost, we have the Honorable Jimmy Akena, the President of the Uganda People's Congress. He will be here personally, and also the mouthpiece, the deputy mouthpiece of government, the Honorable Godfrey Kabyanga, the Minister of ICT and National Guidance, will be here. We'll also have a veteran, both in the economy and the banking sector, Honorable Omara Paul, the Member of Parliament for Otuke County. And finally, we'll have a professor, just to bring some knowledge and academics to this. What does social science say about you, human beings, and how does elections treat us, especially looking at how charged the population looks like. So those are the people we have tonight, and expect it to be cordial yet very poking.
Wow. Well, that is what you do not want to miss this, of course, the biggest show in the land right here on UBC television with Timothy Nyangweso and, of course, a great team of panelists. All right, UBC News Tonight comes to an end. Thank you so much for keeping us company this evening. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto. Right up next is Soul Sisters, and then Behind the Headlines at 10 p.m. Good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Super Soul Sister, I'm very glad that you're here with us yet again for a beautiful evening of having conversations with amazing women. With me is Betty Tumwesijan. She's a leader in the cooperative Tide. We'll be getting into that conversation later. We always want to know our Super Soul Sisters before we get into the things they do, because it's important. Someone out there may say, oh, I cannot do it. But every time you hear a different story, we all have different books that we're still writing. And that is why it's important to us. You're very welcome, Betty.